You're listening to YYC Sociables, Calgary's social experiences podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Sociables, and my job is to make sure you have something fun to look forward to every week. In between these weekly episodes, get your fix by following me on Instagram at sarah.sociables. In this week's episode, I'm talking about all the fun stuff happening in Calgary for the next week. That's Monday, March 15th to Sunday, March 21st. And the sponsor of this week's episode is Solutions Brewing. I've told you guys about Rob, Brendan, and Steven out of Airdrie before. They are making craft beer for us to enjoy. They have a red ale, a stout, and a blonde. And if you haven't ran out to the liquor store and tried it yet, I don't know what you've been waiting for, guys, because Solutions Brewing is where it's at. So thanks again, Solutions, for sponsoring this episode. Moving on to the main segment. So this is where I go over the list of events coming up over this upcoming week. And as kind of usual, there is not a ton of things happening. It's a little bit rough out in event land right now with the restrictions still being in place around gatherings. We can't really have strangers together in one place, and it's pretty crappy. I don't know how many weeks it's been now, like 10 weeks. Like we started in, the lockdown was in December, so probably I guess 12 weeks now is where we're at. So 3 whole months of no events. It's not good. But that said, I do have some things to talk about, and plus it is St. Patrick's Day this week, which is kind of nice that we've got that going on. So even if you can't celebrate in a big group, you can celebrate in a small way. So the first event I'm going to tell you about is happening at High Line Brewing on Tuesday, the 16th. And so this event is a combination of in-person or online, so it's your choice if you want to go to the brewery or not. And it's just a fun trivia night that is being orchestrated by my friend Craig. And if you want to find more information about this Zoom trivia / in-person trivia night, go to Craig's Instagram, because that's where he posts all his events. He's always involved in like lots of stuff to do with the brewery community as well, so he's a good person to follow. And he's at PTWCRAIG, so it's short for Passing Time with Craig. That's kind of his, I don't know what to call it. That's what he's known about. That's his brand, Passing Time with Craig. He does like fun stuff around the city, and he's always posting about his adventures. So he's a good guy. You guys should check him out. So that's Tuesday evening. The next event I want to tell you about is, well, I guess St. Patrick's Day. That is happening on Wednesday. So I don't know if you guys are planning on celebrating at all. I currently don't have any St. Patrick's Day plans. I know a lot of places are actually holding back from doing events just because, well, one, you can't technically do an event, but even like advertising that they're doing much because they don't want to promote like a party atmosphere or anything that could be conceived as people like not at their table or they're with other people who aren't part of their bubble. So even Ship and Anchor, I think they posted something that said, we are specifically not doing a St. Patrick's Day event. So they're like telling people ahead of time, like, don't plan to come here, like almost discouraging them, which was interesting. But that said, a lot of places are doing like the green beer, maybe having some specials, you know, having kind of Irish food or something on the menu, but nothing too big in terms of events going on that day. I noticed the zoo is doing like a pub quiz night that seemed kind of cool. Trolley 5 has like a special beer release that they're doing. There's a couple like small events, some online things. There's like an online dating thing. I'm just kind of recalling these off the top of my head because I do have them on my website though, if you want to look at the few things that are actually going on Wednesday. Like I said, I don't know if I'm even going to be doing anything. Like the green beer is like kind of, it's one of those things that's good in theory, but in practice it's like, do I really want to drink green beer or could I just have like a regular beer? Also, I saw someplace had like glitter beer. Like I know you can eat glitter and there is edible glitter, but that doesn't mean I want to eat glitter. But you know, to each their own, whatever you're into. Okay, so that's Wednesday. Oh, and also happening Wednesday, Una is opening. So that's kind of an event in itself, right? So I told you guys about the opening of General Block in Bridgeland, and that's the one that has the Phil and Sebastian's coffee, Village ice cream, and Una. And so Una's the last one to open. They're a couple weeks behind the other two, and they did push back their date a little bit, and so it's for sure Wednesday is the actual grand opening though. I would love to check that out. They don't have reservations though that I can see, so I'm scared that if I go that it'll be super packed and I'll be waiting for a long time. But anyway, that's what's going on. I expect Una to be very busy at that location. They're probably going to make tons of cash, so good for them. The next event I want to tell you about is there's a Dixie Chicks tribute show that is happening on Friday. That is at the Delta Calgary South. So this is one of those hotels live events that put on show passes where you can buy the tickets. And so they're pricier events because you do get that hotel stay along with it. So you party on your balcony, you watch the show. It's really fun and awesome. I highly recommend these shows. They're very well put together in terms of like the lighting and the entertainment factor. But yeah, they cost more. So be prepared to pay a little more to go to literally the only live music events you can get in the whole province. Yeah, so the next event is a chef's table that's happening on Saturday. So this is a special dinner put on by 10 Degrees Chocolate, where it's a 4-course meal with chocolate in every dish. So that sounds really good. So that starts at 6 on Saturday. It costs $85, so a little bit more money for those tickets. But if you're interested, it's at 10degreeschocolate.ca is where you can find them. And they do these kind of dinners all the time now that restaurants are back open. I'm seeing them like a lot more of these kind of themed dinners going on, especially from 10 Degrees Chocolate. So they'll get like a specialty chef come in, or they'll have like a different theme for like a specific dinner, which is awesome. I love seeing these. So yeah, that is the list of events for the week that I recommend that you check out. If you can't find any of these for any reason, or like have a question, feel free to send me a message or go on my website. I always have more information there on my event calendar that I'm constantly updating with what's going on. Now let's talk restaurant news. So I do have a few pieces of juicy gossip. There are 3 openings I want to mention. One of them comes from the Starbelly group, and you might have heard of this place. It's called Calavera Cantina. And it's going to be open, I think it opened last week, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yes, it says they are open daily 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I believe they opened last week. And so they've got all these pictures of like Mexican food that looks really good, margaritas, guacamole, you know, like the usual kind of stuff. The only thing is that it's pretty far south. It's in kind of like Mackenzie Town area, so as much as I would love to go, and they have like these happy hour specials, 3 to 5 and 9 to close, and I'm like, okay, but when am I going to make time to like make the trip there? You have to like plan ahead, I feel like, if you want to try these restaurants that are a bit more of a drive, right? But yeah, who knows? Maybe I will check that out sometime soon. I love Mexican food and I love margaritas. I hope they have a mezcal margarita because that is my jam. The next one I want to tell you about is called Tokyo Chopsticks. So this is a pop-up. It's a ramen pop-up that is going to be at Shelter Bar every Tuesday. So Shelter was doing like the taco pop-ups for a long time. Like I want to say for over a year, and they were really popular. But now I guess they're trying a ramen pop-up, and it says contemporary Japanese food. So I don't know what that all includes. I'm sure it's probably pretty delicious. So good reason to check out Shelter on a Tuesday anyway. And if you want to know more about that, you can check out their Instagram. They made an account especially for this pop-up. It's called Tokyo Chopsticks YYC. The third piece of restaurant news that I have, this is some pretty hot news coming out of America. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Halal Guys. They are apparently a really big chain there that's finally come to Calgary, and they're going to be opening on 17th Ave. If you check their Instagram, it's called like Halal Guys Calgary, I think. It doesn't say when they are opening, but it does say where. Like it's right in the middle of 17th in this, at the bottom of like the George condo building. I don't know if you know where that is or not. That may or may not have been helpful information. But anyway, wanted you guys to know that that should be opening soon. I will let you know when I know more as well. Probably will check that one out because I don't think I've ever been there in the times that I've been to America. Brewery news. So I don't have any brewery news. The only thing that I'm kind of like eyeing up right now is I'm really curious to know where Noble Pie is moving. I'm sure it's not another brewery, so this isn't maybe brewery news, but I love Noble Pie, and they've been closed since the end of January, and they said they're opening up a new space. There is no news on where that space will be. I hope it's close to my house, though. Okay, so next segment here, where I will be this week. So, like I said earlier, I do want to check out that new Una. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. You may or may not see me out at Una. I have something interesting going on Thursday night. Me, along with some other foodies, we're doing a photo shoot thing at Two Rivers Distillery because Mark from Two Rivers really wanted some photography for his distillery because it's been open for about a year now, and he just needs some images of like people having fun there and really showing off their drinks. And I think they have a little bit of food items, so we are going to help Mark out with that, and I'm really excited to do that on Thursday night. And got my photographer coming and everything, so these pictures are going to turn out so good. I'm really excited for it. I think we're going to do a real bang up job. Oh yeah, the other thing that I'm going to be doing this week is I have like a list of restaurants that I haven't been to and I've been meaning to get to. I don't know if everyone kind of has this list, but I actually have it written down. So this week my goal is to knock off one of the fancier ones because usually I go to the budget ones all the time because it's just easier to kind of fit in. You don't have to like dress up or like, I don't know, mentally plan to like spend a lot of money, but that means that like my list is mostly expensive places because it just takes me that much longer to get to them. So this week I'm going to go to a nicer restaurant. I don't know where I'm going. I might check out Alvin's Jazz Bar. I would love to go there. I would also love to go to, oh yeah, this is some new restaurant news that I should have included. There's a new restaurant called Rendezvous, and it's down in the south, and it's by that, I believe, vintage group as well. Like it's somehow associated with like Chairman's and Alvin's Jazz Bar and that chain of restaurants, I believe. So yeah, I'd love to check out Rendezvous. Apparently it's really nice. They have a dance floor that lights up. Obviously no one can dance on the dance floor right now, but it's kind of just a unique, gimmicky thing. Maybe one day people will be able to dance on dance floors again. In terms of what I did last week, so I told you guys I was going to go to a disco drag show, and you may or may not have noticed that I didn't actually go. That didn't happen. It got canceled. Well, the show didn't get canceled. The show went on, but I couldn't go because it was only supposed to be for ticket holders, and because I was kind of like a media person, I was just extra. So, you know, because of COVID and the rules, I didn't get to go. So I was sad about that because I was really excited just to check out the show and see the venue and have a fun night. But that I ended up staying home instead. Haha, that's how it goes. Other things that I did, this is kind of random, but I went to Leopolds for breakfast last weekend, and it was so good. So I'm just like shouting out Leopolds because their breakfast was outstanding. I got breakfast, you know, those like scramble bowls that they make, and it had a Scotch egg in it and delicious hash browns. It was just like 10 out of 10. So good. Like, it was so good. I was thinking about going back again this weekend because Leo's knocked it out of the park. There's nothing I'd change about that dish. And it was pretty decently priced. It was like $12.50. Like, that's not really like cheap, I guess, but compared to some other brunch places, I feel like that's reasonable price, especially because it was super delicious. So shout out to Leopold's for making A+ breakfast. Other thing that I did, I went to Pinobate Studio. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Pinobate. It's actually pretty popular. It's the first time I'd ever been there. It's way down in the south. It's in Mahogany. And it's this studio that it's kind of designed to be like an adult crafting studio. So you can go there and you can paint, you can make different crafts. Like I made a doormat, which was really fun, and they make it kind of foolproof so that you can't like screw it up even if you're bad at crafts like me, which I'm like the worst. Yeah, it was really good. You can drink wine, you can drink beer, they have pizza you can eat there. It's designed for adults, but they also do like a lot of children's parties on the weekends, so there's also kids that come in too. Really interesting concept. I like that you could do it for like a bachelorette party or some sort of like birthday or ladies' night get together. You can rent the whole place out as a group, and Kiki there is the owner, and she's super nice and friendly and just really wants everyone to have a good time. So yeah, shout out to Pinobate for being awesome. That was a really fun night where I actually got to leave my house and do something. And what else did I do? I went to Boogies Burgers on Friday. And the reason I'm mentioning this, because right now they have this crazy like pickle themed special going on where you can get a pickle beer. First of all, that's crazy. So it's like a sour pickle beer. They did it in combination with New Level Brewing, so it's just specifically for Boogies, so it's limited time run. You get this sour pickle beer, and you get a pickle burger. They call it like Pickle's Cage, which I thought was kind of funny, like Nicolas Cage, Pickle's Cage. And this burger is massive, and it comes with 3 like fried pickled spears right in the middle of the burger, and with like dill sauce on it. So you get a massive, absolutely massive burger. And then on top of that, you get dill pickle fries. And the fries were so good. Like, do not dismiss the fries in this scenario. They were honestly a highlight. It was kind of like eating dill pickle chips, but like a fried version, or like dill pickle popcorn, if you guys ever had that before. Those fries were so good. So even if you don't really like the beer, because beer is kind of weird, like honestly the rest of it's really good. Get the burger, especially get the fries. I don't know how much longer this pickle deal thing is going on at Boogie's, but highly recommend if you want to eat something a little bit weird and different. The other thing that I did that's kind of random, and you guys can judge me, feel free to judge me if you want, but I kind of ended up at the strippers last night. And the reason for that is, well, first of all, so I was out at the Pig and Duke with my boyfriend. It was just the 2 of us, and we were like watching the hockey game or whatever, having some beers. And he was thinking about like what are the things in the pandemic that we can only experience like once in a lifetime that are only pandemic things. And so the thing we came up with was the strippers, because like we figured there'd be like strippers with masks on, and then but they're naked, and it would be like really funny and like unusual. So we just felt like we had to experience it. So we went to Blondies. Turns out that's not how it works. There was no strippers. All they did was play like early 2000s like Girls Gone Wild footage on their TVs. They also had like hockey playing as well. And so there was just like this, yeah, really awkward old TV loop going on for like the whole time we were there. And so no strippers, like there was a stage obviously, but it's completely empty. And then they had like the waitresses who were like pretty scantily clad, and that was basically all the nudity that you got. It was surprisingly busy though. I wouldn't say like busy is a strong word, but like most of the spread out tables were taken with like small groups of people, so it wasn't like, I thought it'd be like completely dead and we would be the only people in there and it would be really awkward, but there was actually some other people there, so it was just kind of like a normal bar night out. So we had a couple like Ryan Cokes there, and randomly someone like bought the whole bar round of shots, and then like another round of shots like came around, so we got free shots twice. I don't know why. Maybe they were just trying to like keep people there, or I don't know, but it was an interesting night. I wouldn't say I recommend it, but hey, we did it and it happened and I have no regrets. Okay, so that is kind of what I've been up to. I want to also give you an update about my podcast. So my original plan with this was to have guests on, but I kind of put that on hold because in January with COVID, like we really weren't supposed to be interacting with other people, and I didn't really want to do the Zoom call thing just because, I don't know, I'd much rather prefer to do it in person so you can like have a beer with someone, make it actually a social experience rather than like an interview style over the internet. So really that's my goal, is still to have guests, either in terms of like one-offs or maybe like kind of a regular co-host or something. Like I think it'd be really good to have someone who we could like bounce ideas off of, and also they could share some of their news about like restaurant stuff and like whatever's going on. I think someone could really add to this show. So my plan is to do that, but I don't have the proper podcasting equipment for one. I don't have the mics. I don't have the, there's like an audio mixer thing that you need. I also don't have that. And I don't really have like the space in my house even to like have someone over and like have it set up. So I have like all these things to figure out. Also, it's like a $500 investment if I buy all that podcasting equipment. So I'm like nervous about jumping into that. So I don't know where this update is going other than that is my goal, and I'm going to try to work towards that again because that is something I'm really excited about. So I'm going to have to jump in one way or another and figure out these problems so then you guys can have some of these more, I think, fun episodes, right? Where we're actually like laughing and joking and it's not just me by myself laughing at my own jokes. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I think that is all I have for you. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or any suggestions for me or know any way to like solve my podcasting problems, feel free to let me know. I really appreciate that you're here and you're interested in the same things I'm excited about. That really means the world to me. And if you want to advertise with me on this podcast or in any other capacity, Instagram, my blog, whatever, feel free to reach out to me, or you can also go to sarahsociables.com/hire me. And that is it for the week. Thank you everyone for listening, and I will see you next time.